So just a little background. August 2017, I had pretty much decided that I was going to live in Australia for 2 weeks and live in New Zealand 2 weeks. So I was going to float between two locations. When I came home, my son had an eye test, a general eye test. His eyes had been a little bit bad. So we went and got checked to see if he needed a reader-writer. He had a little bit of problem focusing his eyes. The optometrist said it was a muscular thing, pretty tied closely to stress. No big deal. We went to the optician to check his eyes and discovered actually in the time from one test to the next, his eyes had deteriorated a lot, like a lot. So I made the decision to take him to a private doctor to get tested. We did that test and actually discovered that he had Stargardts. Now Stargardts is a macular dystrophy. It means that he's going to lose his sight. He has adolescent, which means he's going to lose his sight pretty soon. So as you can imagine, that totally spun my world on axis. It wasn't so bad at the time because I was it's okay, it's not going to happen for a long time. This is not, this is okay, we can deal with this. Obviously since that time I have learnt actually the diagnosis a lot more. I understand now that he is going to lose his sight completely. That's a big deal. So my plans changed. I had, obviously I had Bryn very early. I was 21 when I had Bryn. I had just come back from traveling overseas. I'd been in London, New York, Greece, and very much had the travel bug, and then had Bryn when I got home. So my plans changed. I was a single mum for a long time. Got married, now back to being a single mum. So yeah, I mean, the great thing about it is we were very close, and so my dream was once he was old enough he would go to university and I would travel the world, So obviously my plans to live between Australia and New Zealand got a bit foiled, so I had to put those on hold while we determined what the diagnosis was and what we're going to do. So yeah, so that changed pretty much everything. Bryn's eyes have considerably, since the diagnosis, got a lot worse. Last week he got a cane. That was pretty hard. That was pretty hard. Obviously I try to be really strong for him, but yeah, losing your eyesight is pretty much everything. So yeah, he's quite brave and he takes it all in his stride and he's very resilient, but there are moments when he is frustrated, and I brought him up. So I brought him up to be really independent. So the realization that he has to be dependent on someone is quite hard. He's very independent, he's very self-sufficient. I mean, he cooks, he cleans, he is a pretty awesome adult. I couldn't have asked for a better kid, to be honest. So this is big. Last week, the realization that he will have to be dependent on someone. He doesn't want it to be me, which it probably will be me, but you don't want to be hanging out with your mum forever, and he is fiercely wanting to go and do his own journey. So well, this took a turn. So what am I talking about? So he likes to be independent, so I decided that I would try and do things where they gave him the opportunity to independent. So luckily he can't have a full-time job because the light sensitivity is really bad. But he just got a job at our local newspaper being a cadet reporter, which is a huge deal because he was really struggling to get a job. A lot of people didn't want to give him the opportunity, so he was getting quite frustrated because all his friends were getting jobs and he felt like he was in limbo. Anyway, he's got a job. They love him at his job. He's really good at it. It does take a toll on his eyes, and we've seen his eyes deteriorate. So I don't know how long he's going to be able to do that for, but at the moment he's loving the work, and most importantly he's loving the money. So yeah, so opportunities came up. I am doing obviously the Project 42, and one of the Project 42 is an opportunity arises and I can afford to do it, I have to say yes. So one of my clients was going away for a long weekend, and she needs someone to house sit and dog sit her dog. Eventually Bryn is going to need a dog. I am not a dog person, so I felt that this was quite a good opportunity for me to learn about having a dog. What was great about Lisa's dog is he was a bit of a failed blind dog, but he's been trained, and he's a beautiful black Labrador, and so this was a good opportunity for me to get into dog life, as you will, like a precursor. So I'm heading over to stay at Lisa's for the next 7 days. I think it's 7 days, and she has an Airbnb as well, so there's going to be people Airbnb at her house as well, so it's going to be kind of cool. So I won't be too far away from Bryn. I'm pretty sure his eyesight's not so bad at the moment that he can't manage, so this is giving him his time. You know, he's going to have to catch the bus to work and get him, you know, this is me giving him the time to sort of adapt to that. We're doing well, we're doing good. And so yeah, so I'm about to head off now. Bryn's headed out to the beach with his friends, so he'll come home and I know he'll be fine. And so